Oh, he is the number 20. Oh, his name is Diogo. Perfect tribute to Diogo Jota from the Preston fans. And of course, from Liverpool themselves. Welcome back to the channel, by the way. I know it's been a little bit, but what a better way could we have honored Diogo and his brother Andre than today, and how classy Preston was, and how much honor and respect our club, Liverpool, gave to these two late footballers. And these are brothers. These are brothers to not only to each other, but also to the footballing family there at Liverpool FC. And being able to see this was absolutely touching. But I'm really excited to just have Liverpool back. Right, one of us in the Discord said that it's really good being able to get out of this depressive kind of mode and stupor that we've all kind of been in over the past week and a half, and makes a bright spot out of such a tragedy. And just being able to see our fan base come together and our players come together and honor and celebrate Diogo's life was special to see. That's for sure. It's a perfect way to do it. Perfect. And Preston were just absolutely classy today. And you could see in some of the boys, they were a little bit solemn, but there are bright spots to this game. And it gave us some really great insight onto how Arne is going to line up this squad, how we're going to play, how our new signings are going to fit into this team. And there were a lot of positive signs that I want to talk about today. As you all are probably reading some of the headlines of how well Kirk has played today, but how well Jeremy Frimpong also played today. All of our new signings looked very well bedded in. They looked at home. They didn't look nervous. And there were some surprises that I want to talk about in this Liverpool squad that I feel like could play a role in this squad this season, right? We're going to get a good idea in these next handful of games who will get chances, who will get opportunities, and who's going to decide to take those opportunities, and how they change our the rest of our transfer window, what our transfer window could really look like moving forward now with the changing circumstances, who's leaving, who's coming, who's not leaving, and who's not coming. I want to talk about all of that today in this video. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, thank you guys for subscribing to the last handful of videos. You guys are amazing. Welcome to the Unconformed family. And consider joining the Discord. So my surprises for today, Luca Stephens, baby. Luca Stephens. Hold on, because I wasn't familiar with your gang, young blood. You've been on perpetual loan since you were like 16, 17 years old. Very surprised to see him at center back. I've watched him a handful of times over some like YouTube clips and stuff like that. And he was more of a defensive midfielder, inverted right back on his loan spells, but he looked really good today at center back. Surprisingly good today at center back. And I've only heard great things about him, of how press resistant he is, how good his passing range was, and he didn't put a foot wrong, made some fantastic recovery runs, covering back on Conor Bradley. Is this a long-term thing? I'm not 100% sure with Lucas Stephens, but he looked really good today, and that should get you really, really excited. Federico Chiesa. Chiesa is back, baby. And I think he's going to be one of those ones, and I'll talk about what our attack is going to look like moving forward, which will heavily include him, I think. But he looked really good today. Him and Rio combined so well on that left wing for the goal today. I actually was like really surprised and really impressed by both of them today. And we're going to talk about them in a little bit. But Ben Doak, come on, y'all. I'm not seeing enough love on Big Ben Doak in the timeline today. He's electric, he's direct, and he is almost like the perfect foil to Rio on the left hand, on the right hand side of the pitch, where Rio's on the left hand side of the pitch. If we can keep Ben Doak and he can continue to develop under Mohamed Salah as a backup for him, right? And Frimpong can obviously fill in as the third option there. I think we could have a really special talent on our hands with Ben Doak. I really love the way that he plays. I love how direct he is. I love how pacey he is. And I love how he always is looking to attack the man, similar to how this kid plays, Rio Nhemuha, right? Insane talent. The way that that ball sticks to his foot, bro. The ball control at such a young age, it's something that he obviously works very hard on. I've seen so many videos of him training off season and training, doing individual training, and it's showing. From the time that he last played at Plymouth up until now, he has improved dramatically, dramatically. And I don't think we were talking about that enough. He has gotten so much better with his decision making, and you can see that the older players have taken a liking to him, and they're giving him direction, they're giving him advice. I saw Salah there giving him a couple pieces of advice, and he made the adjustment, and he was able to create a goal. Him and Chiesa combining and setting up the Conor Bradley tap in. So I really loved what I saw, and I think that may change our plans a little bit. And may shed some light on some of the rumors that are kind of not making sense, right? We'll talk about that in a second. Robbo at CB. Another one that I thought was really interesting. We hadn't seen that since the Plymouth game as well, but he looked much better, and his recovery pace looked like it was back. He made a recovery run. He didn't make the tackle, but he put in enough of physicality to put the man off and skew a shot. We could see Robbo at CB, guys, which would make sense as to why Simicas had recently came out and said, "I'm not going anywhere. This is the peak of football. Where would I go?" Which is honestly a very fair assessment. You got Kirkez in there who looked monstrous today. So where does Robbo fit in there? I think he fits in as a backup to VVD in this season, at least for this season. And I'm not completely opposed to it because Robbo is very good defensively. He's aggressive. He's good on the ball, which is definitely something that we're looking for. So seeing Robbo and Luca both being in the side as center backs when they're traditionally wing backs is very interesting, and I think it tells a story here that I don't think we're looking a little bit too deep enough into. Darwin Núñez, a level-headed Darwin Núñez, was a big surprise for me today. Great pressing, wasn't fantastic defense, obviously, but I loved that he was there. He was alert, cool, calm, collected finish, and the dummy to set up the Cody Gakpo goal shows maturity. And you could see it almost in his eyes a little bit that something has clicked and changed with Darwin Núñez. Whether we benefit from that or not, that only time will tell. But I can see a world where Darwin does stay in the side, where he does, and he plays a role in the side like he did last season and like he did the season before. And I know we can kind of get a little carried away online, but in reality, Darwin Núñez is a really good option going forward just to have in your squad. These types of players, you'd rather have them on your team than not have them on your team. Players that can come in and make things happen pretty much out of nothing, right? And Darwin is one of those players that can just make something happen. And you want to keep those players in your repertoire. We'll see if he sticks around. I love the energy that he's giving. I love the tribute to Diogo Jota that he did. And long may it continue for Darwin. I really want to see him succeed in this squad. But if he goes, hopefully he has a ton of success wherever he goes. But I'm one of the ones that I want to see Darwin stay. I really do. And then of course Rio Nhemuha. Kid's a dog. Kid's an animal. Kid's an animal. The way he just takes the ball and I'm coming at you. I'm coming at you. When we're not doing no frilly foo-foo stuff, I'm coming directly at you and I'm cutting inside and I'm cutting back the other way and then I'm cutting back the other way and I'm gonna get a shot off or I'm gonna set up a goal. He needs to keep that animal. If he keeps that, bruh, we got a talent on our hands. We do. And hopefully he's not one of the shooting stars that we've had in the Liverpool Academy where they're special, for a little bit, like round Brewster and stuff like that. And some of these other talents that pop up at that age and then they just disappear. I want Rio to succeed. And I think that's why it kind of changes a little bit of what we're looking at and looking towards in this side moving forward, which I want to talk about the attack. So what does this mean? We could see a world where Diaz does end up leaving. And it's becoming a little bit more frequent in the media, a little bit more frequent in the media, and no one's denying it. Liverpool haven't come out and said no. Diaz's side hasn't come out and said that's not happening. We could see him going to a spot like Bayern Munich. We could see him going to Saudi Arabia maybe because he's open to the move. And then that begs the question, what now on that left-hand side? Cody Gakpo looked good today, by the way. Cody Gakpo's obviously there. We have Chiesa now as an option there, who, what it seems that the suitors aren't there. The Napoli deal fell through. So now he's staying. And then now we have Rio Nhemuha. as a third option potentially, and maybe even a second option. I think that changes everything. And I can see a world where we take that money that we would get from Diaz, the 70 million that we want, and we pocket that and we give Rio some of those minutes. Not all of them. He's still young, but give him some of those minutes because the best case scenario is we have a Lamine Yamal on our team. The worst case scenario is we're developing a promising young talent and we're giving him minutes that he probably needs at this age at the highest level, right? Instead of sending him to a lower league side where the competition isn't high and he's not around top class players and he's not around Mohamed Salah and VVD and some of these Florian Wirtz, some of these fantastic players that he's going to be able to learn from and be around. Instead we send him off. I don't want him to do that. I don't want that to happen. I want him to play at Liverpool. So if Diaz does go, I want Rio to get some of those minutes because I think he is maybe 3 or 4 steps away from becoming a real force in this team. Maybe not a starter, but a real force in this team. He's talented, he's direct, he's fast, he's pacey, and he's getting the decisiveness that you need. Same thing on the other side with Ben Doak. I really loved what I saw with Ben Doak. He's almost like for like on the on the right hand side for Rio Nhemuha. He not getting enough love, like I said earlier. I think Ben Doak is a special player as well. If those two can develop with Mohamed Salah, obviously heading towards the twilight of his career, we could have a really, really impressive winger kind of repertoire arsenal moving forward. Not Arsenal, my fault, y'all. But that's what I think that has to happen for the attack. And with the money that we get from Diaz, it's got to be a perfect storm. One, Ekitike has to go to Newcastle first. That's the linchpin. Actually, the linchpin is Diaz moving, Ekitike actually completing the move, and then us actually pushing for Isak and whatever number and figure that is, whether it's 100, I'm hearing 150, I don't know what that is. A lot of things have to fall into place, and it's got to be a perfect storm for the Isak deal to be pulled off. But there could be a world where Diaz goes, Nhemuha steps in, and we use that money to go and get Isak. And now we have Chiesa, Gakpo, Nhemuha on the left-hand side. We have Nunez and Isak as our strike duo, and they alternate minutes because Isak is a glass canyon. He's a canyon. He is a guy. Isak is a glass cannon, and that's not talked about enough. Isak is very injury prone, and Darwin Núñez is not. So in an ideal world, you want to keep Darwin Núñez just in case. Then you got Salah, Doak, Frimpong on the right-hand side to come in for our third option. That's what I think could potentially happen with our attack. And I actually would like that a lot. The midfield. The midfield is probably the deepest in the Premier League right now, right? How do you go from having Dominic Szoboszlai, Ryan Gravenberch, and Trey and Yoni, and then you also got Jones in there. You also got Elliott. You also got Endo, who played today. Wirtz didn't even play today. Maka didn't even play today. And then don't forget about Stefan Bajcetic and now Luis Kumas, who's coming in as an attacking midfielder now. That's like 6 or 7 really solid options or promising options available for our midfield. I don't think there is a midfield in the Premier League that is as deep as that. It's that simple. Don't forget about Stefan Bajcetic just coming in there as a DM option. And Endo and Ryan. That's 3 deep now that we are in the CDM position. The 6. All of a sudden, it's deep. Out of nowhere, when it was like, we got to get new DMs. Now all of a sudden we don't. So it looks good in the midfield, and I like what I'm seeing. And I liked Kumas today too. There was a lot of bright spots. A lot of bright spots. But you guys got to tell me who your man of the match was before I jump into the defense. Put it in your comments down below who the man of the match was. For me, the first half, it's got to be, I'm going to say Conor Bradley and maybe Rio. In the second half, I'll say Kirkes. And let's talk about the defense, parlaying off of Kirkes, right? This one is interesting because having Luca there as a center back option and also having Robbo as a center back option changes things a little bit because we know Slot likes center backs that love to play with the ball at their feet and can play with the ball at their feet, but also are pacey and can recover. Both of them can do that. So it changes things a little bit, especially with Kwanzaa now gone. And Gomez, don't forget, Gomez was injured for a majority of last season. Now Gomez is back and he looked good today as well. Kanate is still there. Whatever happens with the contract situation, I don't know. And then VVD. Now we have a couple options in the center back, which explains why we're now looking at a younger center back who can bide his time, learn from VVD, learn from Kanate, and then become the man in 2 and 3 years. Makes more sense than going after a guy who's demanding minutes and Gehi. So now a lot of these moves are starting to make sense because we're seeing what Slot has planned for this team. And it's very interesting, especially where Conor Bradley was popping up on the field and Frimpong and Kirkes, who were magisterial today in defense, which is the complete opposite of what I thought I was going to be saying in this video, that Kirkes and Frimpong were bombing up and down the pitch. They actually were really good in defense today. 100% accuracy in tackles for Kirkes. 4 out of 5, I believe, for Frimpong. Ball recoveries out of this world for both. They looked really solid defensively. And that makes me excited because I know if we can lock them down defensively and the defense is there, we ain't got to worry about nothing because going forward, they're going to be a menace. They're going to be a freaking menace. And especially where Conor Bradley was popping up on the field in that first half, if Frimpong can get in those positions, we are going to cause so much havoc and do so much damage to these Premier League teams. It's not even funny. Those two are probably going to be the two most important signings that we've made this season, Kirkes and Frimpong. And what somebody said in the Discord that it's kind of funny that when Conor Bradley scored, we didn't even think about Trent. How can you? When we have a whole new repertoire of fullbacks that are more exciting and honestly more impressive than Trent was. I'm more excited about seeing a new style going down that right-hand side that's more of the traditional right back role than having essentially an inverted midfielder there who has fantastic passing range and is very, very special. Don't get me wrong. I love Trent's game and I love the way that he plays. It's very unique. But I think the way that Frimpong and Conor Bradley are going to approach this season is going to be really, really cool. So I loved what I saw. I know it's Preston. I know it's early, but so far, so good. Shout out to Gio Mamardashvili as well. Had a really good game. Really looked good with the ball at his feet as well. He's going to be a huge signing for us. I think I think he's better than Kelleher. I'll be honest. Kelleher is a fantastic goalkeeper, and that's saying something because I think Kelleher is a top 10 goalkeeper in the Premier League. But I also think Gio could be a top 10 goalkeeper in the Premier League as well. And I think Allison is number one. So being able to have those options, we're so damn spoiled at Liverpool FC. So I wanted to go into in depth of what I saw today, what it could mean moving forward in the transfer market. There's going to be some more videos coming out this week. Took a little bit of a break after the Diogo news, but we're back, and the videos are going to be coming out a little bit more hot and heavy. We're also going to be coming back to streaming this week as well. So keep an eye out for the Unconformed podcast this week as well, guys. Great match, beautiful tribute to Diogo Jota. This is probably going to be the most emotional season that we've ever seen, and probably the most important season that we've ever had at Liverpool FC. And hopefully the boys can make it really special. So make sure you guys strap in for this season number 2 at the Unconformed Football Club. And you know what they say about seasons, right? The second season is always better than the first season. So thanks for joining me on this journey. Very excited to be doing this again for another season. Make sure you guys subscribe and join the family. The goal is to get to 10,000. Can we get to 10,000? I don't know. We'll see. Thanks, guys. Peace.